You know what paid for my dream? Side hustles and spite. A lot of people told me that the things that I dreamed and wanted to do were unrealistic, that I needed to start small and build and grow, and that I was just way in over my head, essentially. So I got petty. Oh, me? You think I can't do it? Watch me. I went from believing that I needed to go down the traditional 9 to 5 route in order to be successful and build my dreams kind of like on the side, to completely throwing all of that traditional jargon out of the window and starting from scratch. So I always had a vision. I always had a vision to be an entrepreneur. I always had a vision to be a business owner. I didn't know in what capacity I'd be able to complete that, and I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do for a long time. And I still teeter back and forth between the ideas of all the possibilities, all the routes I can go down in my life, because I've just always been multifaceted and passionate about multiple things. But the thing that I've always been the most passionate about is freedom, and being able to provide that not only for myself, but for the people that are most important to me in my life, and then being able to give back to the world. That's just on a very general level what my purpose has always been in life. But traditional paths always felt like they were boxing me in. It always felt like I was not able to fully utilize my creativity or my voice, for that matter, when I was working traditional jobs, 9 to 5s, even when I was doing a lot of work that was heavy on giving back to communities or working with kids. I still felt like I was not in my truest form, not really able to fully express myself, my ideas, and have my work translate to something that I was proud of. So I knew that I needed to carve my own way, but I was working in a system and within a society that had so many factors working against me. Like most of you watching this probably feel, I had bills to pay. I would get burnt out from the work that I was doing, especially if it was draining of my energy, and being underestimated. It makes you think smaller. It makes you think that it isn't possible to just throw everything out the window and start over, or go your own way, or make shit up as you go. Like, we as humans are very much conditioned to believing that we have to conform and comply in order to see success, and there is this script that we have to follow in order to be the people that we want to be, and that's just simply not always the case. So there was always a little bit of a spite factor that kind of made me see how far I can push the needle, and what I can do, and how far I will be able to go. What are the limits of this? And like, okay, I can work a traditional 9 to 5, but I still want to be an entrepreneur. So in what capacity can I work around this box that I'm living in right now in order to make my dreams a reality? And obviously I learned very quickly that it wasn't going to work, but I always had in the back of my mind, like, I want to be my own boss. I don't want to live this conventional career lifestyle that most people look for. When I was laid off from my jobs multiple times, I was let go from 2 positions. The first time I was actually fired in a wave of people that were fired with the company, and the second time I was let go from a position for speaking my truth and setting boundaries in the workplace. But it made me so angry that both times the way that I was let go made me, it lit a fire in me, because the second time I was let go, it was right around the holidays. I obviously had bills to pay. I didn't really even care so much about like Christmas and gift giving and everything like that. I just wanted to be able to support myself. And the second that I spoke my mind and spoke up about something, I was fired from my position. And I learned many ways, the hard ways, that when people are in positions of power, when they feel like they have to use it, they absolutely will use it. Even if it's not fair, it comes with losing really hard workers. When you're in a position of power and it comes down to the dollar bill and seeing your, people that work for you as like a liability, or as trouble or as a problem, people will exercise their power to do whatever they can to protect the dollar, which is the bottom line for a lot of people that run businesses. So I was angry. I was pissed. I was pissed off that I knew my work ethic and my worth as an employee, but it was coming into question again because it was the second time that I was let go from a job that I knew I was doing damn good at. And a job that I really didn't even want to have, that I was busting my ass working really hard for someone else in these positions, and I got fired. So it made me really spiteful. It made me really believe that I have what it took to be my own boss. Not only did I have what do I have what it takes to be my own boss, but I never, ever, 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 ever want to put myself in a compromising position ever, ever, ever again, where I am relying on someone else to be able to support myself. Never. And I know that my situations are very unique and I can't speak for everybody else's situations, but if you've ever been let go from a job, then I'm sure you had similar feelings, especially if you were in like a creative position or you were in a position where you actually liked your job, but maybe you didn't like what was going on with what was happening within your company or with your boss or whatever the case may be. That's enough motivation for you to say, fuck it, I'm good at what I do. Why do I need to work for someone else? So the spite factor really kept me going. It like lit a fire under my ass, and I knew that there would be power in being able to prove people wrong. And I'm not saying this to say that you should only pursue what you want to prove people wrong, but damn, doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel really good to be able to prove people wrong? First and foremost, yourself. Prove yourself wrong for believing all of those limiting beliefs that people put on you. But then after that, prove them wrong for putting those limiting beliefs on you. So the side hustles are what kept me afloat. The side hustles are what kept me from saying, I don't need to find another full-time job. I don't want to find another full-time job. I will just hustle the hell out of anything and everything that I can to make my money while I viciously pursue what I'm getting after. So, I mean, anything you can think of, you name it, and I have done it or probably tried to do it in some capacity. I was a dog walker. I've done Shipt, which is the grocery delivery app. I've done Uber Eats. I've done DoorDash. I've done Uber driver. I mean, like anything that would be labeled as a side hustle, I've either done it or tried to do it. I even tried to become an Amazon delivery driver, but I had to join a wait list and kind of fell off my mind after that. But I have no pride when it comes to working and my work ethic. I was raised by a lot of hardworking people, but I saw these hardworking people in my life always just suffering or in terrible positions or in terrible situations because they bought into the belief that the harder they work, the easier their life will become. And that just simply is not true. I know that that's not true, but I also know that the hard working part that was instilled in me, because I know I am that type of person, I will never go without a paycheck. I just knew that the money was out there with my name on it, waiting for me to pursue it. So all I had to do was go out there and get after it. And I would do that by any means necessary if that means that I can continue to pursue aggressively what I wanted to pursue, which was entrepreneurship, which was content creation, which was digital marketing. All of these things that I've been able to go after and the skills that I've been able to garner, they've all been thanks to my willingness to do the side hustles, work the hell out of the side hustles, even if I was tired, even if it was slow. I had to learn how to be in the trenches and learn time management and learn the real meaning of a trade-off and just put my head down and work. So I really had to stick to being committed to working just enough to pay my bills and keep myself afloat. What's more worth it? Being able to have PTO banked and go on a vacation once a year, or being able to actually have control over my schedule in the future and being my own boss and running my own businesses, and like everything is a trade-off. So I traded the ability to have weekends off in order to be able to pursue my dreams whenever I want and have the flexibility in my schedule and be able to say, no, I'm not going to do that. Yes, I'm going to do this. Like, that's a big trade-off. It's a big trade-off that most people aren't willing to do, actually. Everything that I was working toward and still am working toward, all of that time that I would have spent working for someone else or working a 9 to 5, I've now taken that time and been able to reinvest it into my businesses. So myself as a freelancer, first of all, myself in terms of my skills, I've been able to reinvest into my hobbies, the things that I'm passionate about. I've been able to reinvest in the business that I run here in Central Florida with my mom. I've been able to just have the availability to do the things that I've always wanted to do. So there are a lot of hard truths that come with building your dreams. And one of those hard truths is that it's not cute. There's no aesthetic when it comes to building your shit from scratch. There really is. It's not, it's not cute to be in the trenches. Like, you're working hard, probably harder than you've ever worked in your life, because when you're hungry for something, you have to get after, and you have to be willing to get down into the nitty-gritty and do whatever it takes. So if you are somebody who's thinking like about taking on some side hustles or getting out of the traditional 9 to 5 career route and just taking on some side, it's a scary thought. But if you are thinking about it, just know that they aren't forever. They have to be used as your leverage. They're not a super sustainable way to live. So you have to be using them as leverage in order to get to where you want to be while you're building, while you're working on something else, other projects. That's the way that these side hustles are really meant to be used and capitalized on. But, discipline and rage will build your future faster than waiting for your ideal conditions. If you get just a little bit focused and dedicated to your routine, to what needs to get done, and you got that fire under your ass, that's more than enough for you to start chasing and pursuing your dreams. Not a degree, not a blueprint, or even the support maybe that you wish that you had. You just need some audacity. You need some cojones, okay? You need the cojones, and find the way to make the money on your own terms, on your own schedule, whatever that looks like for your unique situation, and make it happen. Make it happen. And if you're listening to this and you're like, what the hell is this person talking about? She's out of her mind. Then it's not for you. It's not for you. But for those of us who this is resonating with, you're scrappy. You're a scrappy person. You come this far, and clearly your dreams are talking to you in the back of your head. You got something going in the back of your head, and you're waiting for the right time to make the right move, and you're trying to build this, maybe you're trying to save that. There's never a right time. The right time is now, today. Everything counts toward building your future, even if it's messy.